So hello everyone, with my review of My Hero Academia episode 16, season 3, which is 54 altogether. And yeah, nice episode, right? We're getting into the whole Battle Royale, we're getting a new best girl, and that's of course into Deku, as they always are, you know, into the main character, right? And she's really into it, yeah. It's like the whole, okay, I'm gonna take you down, little femdom steering a bit there. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll see where this is going. But I loved how Deku, though, of course, figured out her. He's like, I know my girl, like, I know Urika, I know my girl, but he still saves her, right? Because he's the hero. It's like, you were getting hurt, so I have to save you. It's like, why do you save me? Like, why? Like, well, I mean, it's like, you know, it's kind of that he's a good hero. He has to, of course, even save the enemy females, right? It's like, yeah, which is also quite a classic reason why the main character, the man in shonen animes, I don't just shonen animes, but I mean, like in generally. And say, yeah, like, you know, Spider-Man and so on as well, right? Typical, like Spider-Man and Black Cat, and he's like, she's falling down, Spider-Man saves her, even though she's the bad guy sometimes, and then she's like, oh, you just want to touch me, oh, you know, yeah. And she actually kind of likes it because, of course, she's like a heroic guy that he always saves the bad, you know, always saves the girl, regardless of, you know, if she's good or bad, right? And that's clearly what's happening here as well, right? I mean, yes, it's very, very typical, I would say, Western comics, more than anime, actually, think about it. Because I think mostly in anime, you kind of have different sides, you can have that, yeah, shonen more has that. Different kind of, like, you know, structure, more gray and white. And Western comics is much more like, you know, I am a good guy, you're a bad guy, you're a villain, you're trying to break this bank, you're trying to conquer the world. Where in anime, it's more, you know, a continuation story, right? So you can't just go and save. Yeah, because like in Western comics, you fight on the roof, right? You fight these people on the roof, you beat them, and then next week you fight them on the roof again. You kind of repeat some kind of loop on fighting people, kind of go back and forth, right? Where in anime, of course, it's much more, you know, stream forward, right? So you can't just like, if you save the bad girl there, which you might do, but you probably capture her maybe, and she can't, you know, actually do anything more, right? Where in, like in Spider-Man or whatever, other Marvel comics, you kind of save the bad girl, and then she escapes, and like, I will get you next day, you know, I kind of like you, but I'll get you next morning. Yeah, it's kind of like that, right? So they kind of loop it around, and that's why the girl will, you know, eventually like the good guy more and more, because he's always trying to help her anyway, trying to redeem her and so on. So I think that My Hero Academia definitely that kind of feel to it, in my opinion, it's because obviously My Hero Academia is a lot of, you know, Western comic, right? It's a hero thing, right? I think that kind of felt to it definitely feels more, yeah, Western. It's like jumping in there, saving the imposter Urika. I would say so. It's always a hero to the bitter end, right? And also that's why she's gonna charm the bad guys, right? No, but like, yeah, this is so classic, yeah. But I like it. I mean, it's that's one of those tropes that I feel is like it always works, right? Because he is the good guy. We know Deku is really, really built up to be a person that always trying to do the good thing, right? So he's always going to try and saving the bad guys as well. And that's, of course, is, you know, with Todororaki last year, right, fighting him, and it's more like he's trying to help him with his backstory, his, you know, his past, more than just trying to beat him. So it's very, very Deku, right? It fits the character perfectly. So I really like that. And the reason then the girls are gonna like him, you know, not just Uraka, but Origo as well. Like, it's not because of that, right? Of course, he saved her to begin with, right? In episode 4, right? Episode 1. Yeah, running in there, my favorite scene there, beating the robot, right? And that, of course, it's what she interested him since then, right? So, you know, it's definitely is the Deku move. It's very, very much the main character of a heroic story mode, right? The typical hero main character. He does it a lot, and increasing that harem, you know, every much so, right? So anyway, that's kind of the feel I have from that thing, and of course she has the power of chasing her, I guess, appearance, and I'm guessing the anime kind of censored that yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how to look at the manga, but I just felt that she was going to be more skin, right? I think the whole white kind of the white clad thing is probably there in the manga, right? I was like, man, that looks very censored. That looks very censored. That's what I felt that she was getting out of her mud transformation. It's like, that looks very censored. But yeah, I have to look at the manga after this. Like, wait a minute, how it actually looks there. They have to check it out. So we have that thing, right? And then we have Todororaki fighting the ninja school, which I mean, is like, are they all ninja? I hope they all gonna have ninja quirks. I kept saying it in my live reactions, I hope they all have ninja quirks, but I doubt it because the other guy has like big arms. It's a muscular guy. It would be cool if it all has to kind of like, you know, cloning, teleportation, stealth. It would be awesome. I mean, at least the lead had like, you know, shuriken, like throwing big shuriken kind of thing. So that was pretty neat, but I doubt they have that. It felt more like we're from this ninja school and we all have ninja uniforms or something, but we don't have ninja quirks. We just look like ninjas for some reason. Yeah, I was like, but they feel very fillerish. It's probably gonna add out some skill that next week, right? And then it beats them probably pretty easily. It also kind of follows the typical law of accuracy. So he fights like 20 ninjas now, or 10 ninjas, whatever. He fights like, you know, plus 10 ninjas. So we know they have bad quirks and they can't win, right? Because like the wind guy, he's massive with power and super. But yeah, like those guys, you can fight in 1-on-1, that's gonna be stronger. If you fight someone, like if it's a 10 ninjas, you know it's gonna be easy, right? If it's like one ninja, that means they have awesome quirks, be really, really OP. But he's fighting is the whole school of ninjas. So obviously each ninja is gonna be really bad because otherwise it would be too hard for him, right? So you know they are very like a filler-rich enemies because they're gonna have to be like, you know, that's how it's gonna be, right? That's so obvious. But it really is. I mean, like they're obviously gonna be like, it's like, you know, firestorm, ice storm, and they're gonna get loose, right? So then we have, of course, the wind guy, which is they said last week that he's the strongest guy. You know, he should be in UA. He didn't join because he has reason, you know, hates UA and so on, right? And yeah, he has the wind quirk, which of course is very overpowered. I don't think I can. If you know, leave a comment below. I don't know any see. I never have I seen a storyline in any manga or anime or TV show or movie when someone has the weather, wind, air power and that is not OP. That is always a massive power, right? It makes sense though, but it's always like, oh, I can control the wind. I can, like, you know, I can remove the oxygen, or I can like use this massive blast, or I can, you know, yeah, just fly. I can fly because I can of course control my own, you know, wind around me. Yeah, it gives you like usually flight power, massive control over the surrounding because you can control the oxygen or whatever, right, or the air, where the air is. You can control kind of objects, right? Like a telekinetic. Yeah, like with telekinetic, you can control objects that float around, right? Because you can control the air around you. You can still pretty much float stuff like yourself. You can fly probably, and you can also make anything else also fly. So it's also like a really good power, and it's also usually stronger than telekinetic, right? Because it's like it has a stronger version of that if you have the control of it, because you can push away as well, right? So you get like that. Yeah, you pretty much get the telekinetic power, but stronger usually, except you actually aren't on Earth. But you don't fight. Yeah, well, it depends on the character, but usually it's like, yeah, you fight on Earth, and you're absurdly strong. And have people actually say clown, right? They can remove the oxygen as well. They can just steal that. It's the same in how right in Shaman King. He also has the oxygen power, right? He can like control, so you suffocate too. Yeah, like that's always the extra. That's a special level of it. If you have like you have the control of the oxygen molecule, it's even better than having control of wind power. You're like, yeah, can you do Darth Vader on people, right? But yeah, like it's always OP. So of course he has that. Of course he is kind of like. I really liked how the other guy though from the other school had earth power. Right? So he had the Gura, he had the white plate power. Right? He had the earth power, and if you compare them, obviously one is, you know, the ground guy, one is the wind guy. So they have the different elements, right? Earth and wind. That is, you know, you have like, you know, earth, wind, fire, and water, right? And of course you have Todororaki having fire and ice. So together they four have pretty much the elements, right? So that's really nice, and that's really nice how the new two characters have the difference in powers. So yeah, that's really cool. And obviously, I was about Todororaki, we fight at least one of them, right? Because they have also their elemental powers. So it has to be. I wouldn't be surprised if you fight both of them at the same time. So they can have like all the four elements clashing. That would be awesome. So hopefully that's gonna happen with all four of them, or so three, but they combined they have the four powers, right, of the elements. Except heart, so they need that. But but yeah, otherwise it's like, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And I also of course saw his teammates there. The aiming power is pretty neat to have in this kind of, yeah. That, in my opinion, feels kind of like the author was like, well, I need someone to be able to throw balls really good. So here's a guy with the aiming power. It's pretty useful otherwise as well, but now it's really useful at this specific, story. It's very, very useful. Rock added that is pretty boring. And her power though, man, like turning into this kind of weird, that power felt really, okay, what's the point of that power? I felt like, what's the point of this power? Like you can shrink or something, it's like, how do you ever use it offensively? I have no idea. It felt like, I don't know, you can hide maybe or something. It seems like a really bad power. Probably one of the worst power we've seen here. Yeah, like you can just avoid damage probably. So you have to like martial art physically beat them afterwards. Potentially, right? Yeah. Anyway, press the like button, subscribe button, right? And I'll see you guys next week with more My Hero Academia.